Alrighty, my BHT friends, this is Excalibur again, and I am going to teach you right now how to clean up the phone numbers from the parentheses, the space, and the dash if you're using strictly Excel. This is to help out Tadu and perhaps anybody else that's going on or is having these kind of issues. Hopefully, this is going to help. So now, I have my folder here where I have a simple CSV file that gets produced, like from one of these programs that basically scrape from the internet and stuff like that. I'm simply going to double click it, open it with Excel, and now we're just going to use Excel to do this work. Now the Excel that I have, the version that I have on mine, it is the Microsoft Office Professional Plus 2010 version. So if you have 2013, I don't know if it'll work the same, but at least this should help you if if you have the 2010 version. So let's look at the phone number column, okay? And here I got to give props to Impulse from our Black Hat forum from BHT, Black Hat team. Impulse shared this amazing string that you can use right here, which will actually clean it up in one step. It's amazing. So I actually copied it to a notepad, and in the notepad document, which I got, hold on. Okay, so it's the same string, but I put it on Notepad only because it's sometimes easier with this kind of font to see what you got to do. And it's easier to copy and paste from here. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this. Now I'm going to go back to our Excel sheet, and this is what we got to do. Check this out. On this column here where the phone numbers are, okay, you have to add a blank column next to it. So what I do is I click on the I, or the header of the column here. I right click after I've clicked on it, and then click on insert. What that does is it inserts a blank column to the left of that I, and it becomes a new column, and it just moved everything to the right. So now you have a blank column next to these phone numbers. So now what you're going to do is here in this column, once you click on it once, then you're going to come up here where you can type in information, and you're going to paste that formula. You see that? So now that the formula is pasted, there's one change that needs to get done. Notice how your phone numbers are on column H, on H column. So what you got to do is look for this little area right here in between that has the A1, and you got to switch it and you got to change it to say H1. Okay. Now, by the way, just make sure that you are on the row number 1. Okay. So now that I did that, I'm going to hit enter on my keyboard. Now notice how what is showing you here is this same exact thing, but without the parentheses, without the space, without the dash. Look at that. So it's all together beautiful. Now keep in mind, like I said, this is the information is on field H1 because it's on column H, and on the very first field, you see the one up here? So the formula here is pulling from the field that's next to it, H1. So you got to make sure that the formula where you're putting this, it's just to the right, okay? Because if you put that same formula over here, it's let me just show you what would happen. Let me just go ahead and paste that same formula and put H1 here, and I accidentally find myself that I'm on the second row. Okay, so these are rows, row number 1, row number 2, row number 3, and you can see it over here on the left hand side. You see that? Row 1, 2, 3, and then as the up and down ones are columns. Columns are in letters A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, and stuff like that. So notice how both of these are the exact same thing. But the results I'm seeing on this second one is not the same as this one right here. Why? Because I told it that I wanted to pull the information from H1. You see the formula up here? H1, which is telling it this one right here. So I don't want to do that. So I want to go ahead and get that fixed. And the way that you do it is because this formula is on the second row, then you do H2 instead. Oh, there's an error in the formula. Yeah, there's an extra code right there. Let me just go ahead and fix that. And to make it a lot easier for us, I'm just gonna paste it right and then put H2. Hit enter, and there it is. Now it would be totally a pain in the butt if you had to copy this formula over and over and over, changing the designation. But good thing is that the Microsoft people, thought of everything. So they really made it a smart program. So you notice here that this one is pulling from H1, which is the one next to it. This one here, in order to give you these values, it's pulling from H2. Notice how it says H2. Okay, so it's pulling from the one here to the left. Now, when we go over to the next one, it has to be H3 and then H4 and so on, right? Okay, interesting. So whenever you click on something else, it totally changes the formula. So let me just fix that. Okay, so in order to make it so that it copies it correctly, you see this little dot on the bottom right hand corner of the cell. So when you put your mouse over it, which is a big thick plus, when you put it over, it turns into a skinny plus. You see that? So thick plus, skinny plus. So what you do is you click on that, hold it with your left mouse button, and then start dragging it down. And what happens is that Excel very smartly makes the updates and changes necessary. Boom. You see that? Now each of the formulas is corresponding to the number right next to it. Notice how this is 662-701-7869, and here it is 662-701-7869. You see that? So the people over at Excel thought of basically, if you copy using this little plus sign or this little dot below it, it should update the formula and then use as a smart functionality. Okay, so let's go ahead and just copy the formula all the way down, and then I'm going to go ahead and show you what we have to do at the very end. So here we go, and there it is. Okay, so now we have the numbers there. However, how do you add the 1 before it? Well, you're going to click on the header right here so that it selects the whole column. Okay, and then we're going to go to where it says format cells, and the way to get to it is you right click anywhere in this area, in this blue area, right click, and you select where it says format cells, and it opens this box. Now, if for whatever reason that format cells does not appear here, there's another way to get to it. Let me just show you. You go here to where it says format in this area. As long as you are in the home tab, see this? Let me just pull it down here. As long as you are in the home tab here, then you can go over here to where it says format, and then you also get format cells down there. See that? So the only thing is you just got to get this here. Then you're going to go down to where it says custom, and then just leave it there as where it says general. And all you're going to do is you're going to select here underneath where it says type, just delete that. Select it all, delete it, and then you're going to enter in the number 1 and the pound sign. So in other words, shift 3 on your keyboard, pound. By doing that, notice how the sample of the first row is telling you it's going to be the number 1 and then the rest of the numbers. So just do 1 pound, hit OK, and boom, see that? All the numbers all the way down just got updated with a 1 in the front. And that's the way that you do it so that you can go ahead and get the right figures. Now, there's only a couple more steps to do. At this point, you cannot delete these yet, because if you notice when you click on this, although you're seeing a number here on the very top, notice how it's an actual formula that you're seeing. So these are not the figures, what's there, it's actually the formula. So if I were to delete this field right here, let me hit delete, look at what happens. Now it's telling us that there's an error because there's nothing on the field next to it. Okay, so let me go ahead and undo that. So in order to get it working right, you select the very first field on the very top and then scroll all the way to the very bottom. Then scroll all the way to the very bottom, select the last field, hold down the shift key on your keyboard, hold on shift, click on the very last one, so you select all of those. Okay, now once you've selected them, you're going to copy by doing right click and do copy. Okay, so then you start getting this little thing going all around it. Okay, and then click on the very top one again. Okay, go make sure you're at the very top on the first row, and then you're going to right click on it. You're going to paste. You're going to down here where it says paste special, and you're going to choose this one right here that says values and numbers formatting. Okay, so you're going to paste this one, although that one will work also with values, but I like putting the formatting one because it makes sure that it keeps that formatting, that one before it. So by clicking there paste, what it did is it just converted all of these figures, all of these formulas that were there. It only pasted the values. And so now let's look at the difference. If you see up here, notice how it has the numbers only now instead of the big long formulas. So now we can go ahead and come here. We can delete this whole row right there. You just click on top on the very top header of the row, right click, and then click on delete. And what's going to happen is it's going to take off that whole, not row, I'm sorry, it's going to take off that whole column, and it's going to move everything from the right to the left once, and it's going to be replaced. So check it out. Boom, you see that? Happened instantly. I took it off, and now we have this new column of the phone numbers that you're going to be using to work with, whether you're using it for analytic call tracking or for any other calling system where you couldn't import parentheses, spaces, or dashes. Okay, so anyways, that is the training for this part on how to use Excel, and definitely feel free to rewind and go through it, because I know it's a lot to digest in one sitting, and hopefully this was helpful. Okay, anyways, you have a beautiful day, and thank you for your time, and bye for now. Oh, wait. Sorry about that. Then to save it, almost forgot to tell you that. So before signing off, if you click on this save, it's going to overwrite the current CSV file that you have. So I personally always like going to save as and then giving it another name, just to make sure that I keep the original one, just in case I messed something up. Okay, so in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and add a dash and say formatted. Oops, I have the caps on. Formatted, and then it already says it's a CSV, so I don't have to put .csv. I'm going to hit save. Okay, so whenever you get this error in Excel, it's just simply saying that because we have, like cell formatting here, you cannot keep those changes if you're saving it onto CSV. Those are things that you can only keep if you're saving it as an Excel workbook. So whenever it tells you that, do you want to keep the workbook in this format, the CSV format, just hit yes. So then it just saved it. Now when you hit X to exit, it's going to tell you that it hasn't been saved. You can just simply ignore it. So I just hit the X on the top to close the program, and I'm going to tell it not to save it. And if we go over here and we take a look at this file, let's open it in Notepad. You will notice that it got saved precisely how it's supposed to be saved. You see that? 1 and then the 10-digit number with a 1 before it. See that? All the numbers are formatted correctly. Okay, so there we go. Now we can go ahead and sign off. I'm going to leave this. I'm going to upload it to a copy account and put a link on the forum so that you can download these notes here. And also, I'm going if I remember to put the link on it on the YouTube video, so you can go ahead and download it. Okay, so now we're ready to sign off. Anyways, this is Excalibur again. Thank you for your time, and I hope this was helpful. And you have a beautiful night, and bye for now.